When a nation gets tired of losing, they usually build better stadiums. They spend billions on foreign coaches. They pray for a miracle. Japan did something stranger. They partnered with a cartoon about narcissism. This isn't an internet theory. This is a documented national strategy. The goal? To delete the polite mindset of an entire generation and replace it with pure, unfiltered ego. But beneath the marketing, there was a second layer to the experiment. They used these stories to hack the brain's reward system, forcing athletes to chase impossible movements until they became possible. Today, we are going to look at the 3 specific books that turned fiction into a factory for super athletes. To understand the sheer madness of what happened next, we have to go back to the funeral. In 2009, Japanese men's volleyball wasn't just struggling, it was a corpse. Baseball was the religion, football was the future, and volleyball, it was the ghost in the room that nobody talked about. The numbers were tanking, the hype was dead, but then a shonen jump manga kicked down the door. Enter Haikyuu. It's a show about short kids screaming at a ball, and somehow it became a religion. Between 2012 and 2022, the release of Haikyuu marked a turning point for high school enrollment across the entire nation. Think about that. Japan is literally running out of teenagers. The birth rate is shrinking. Logically, enrollment numbers should be nosediving. Instead, this show helped defy demographic gravity. But watching a show doesn't make you an athlete. I watch MasterChef, but I still burn toast. So why did this actually work? Look at Yuji Nishida. In the pro leagues, standing 6'1" makes you a toddler. By all laws of physics, he should be getting blocked into the shadow realm. Instead, he's crushing everyone. Why? Because he didn't learn to jump from a PE teacher. He learned from a drawing. This is where neuroscience gets fascinating. Scientists call this a supernormal stimulus. Here is the mechanism. Your brain is wired to respond to exaggeration. If you show a baby bird a fake beak that is redder and brighter than its mother's real beak, the baby will peck at the fake one. It prefers the exaggerated model. Human brains are the same. Real life is, well, boring. It's subtle. The biomechanics of a jump are hard to see. But anime makes you challenge the limits of reality. The artists draw the muscles exploding. They draw the impact frames. They make the right way to jump look like a superpower. Nishida's brain saw the exaggeration, deleted the limits, and said, okay, I'll do that. He isn't jumping like a human. He's jumping more like an animation keyframe, and he's not the only one. If Haikyuu was the shield that saved the sport, Blue Lock is the knife. It stripped away the power of friendship and replaced it with pure, unfiltered trauma. It didn't come to make friends. It came to create monsters. To understand why this knife was necessary, you have to understand the fatal flaw in Japanese football. For decades, the Japanese national team was technically perfect. They were disciplined, they were hardworking, but they were too nice. It's a cultural concept called wa, the spirit of harmony. If you have a 50% chance to score, but your teammate has a 51% chance, you pass. It's polite, it's honorable, and it loses World Cups. Japan didn't need more friends. They needed a jerk. They needed an egoist. And that is exactly what Blue Lock taught them to be. The show's thesis is simple. Screw the team. I am the star. Now, normally, a national sports federation would ban this message. Be selfish is terrible advice for kids, right? Well, apparently not, because the Japanese Football Association, in fact, partnered with the anime. They looked at a cartoon about narcissism and said, yes, we want that. And then, the prophecy came true. 2022 World Cup. Japan versus Germany. The ball comes to Takuma Asano. The old Japanese would have passed this ball. Logic says, wait for support. But Asano wasn't playing logic. He was playing Blue Lock. He ignored the pass. He took the shot. He chose the egoist option. And he scored. The internet exploded. Blue Lock is real, trended worldwide. But it wasn't just Asano. Look at Kaoru Mitoma. This guy is the ultimate anime protagonist. He turned down a pro contract at 18 to go to university, just to write a thesis on dribbling. He literally strapped GoPros to his head and to his opponents to analyze the field of vision during a one-on-one duel. He turned soccer into a math problem. He is the real-life version of the puzzle ability, where you deconstruct the game into logic. Basically, Japan decided that being a narcissist isn't a character flaw, it's a national strategy. But here is the catch. Blue Lock only changed the software of the athletes. It changed how they think. To truly change a country, you need to change the hardware. You need money, you need infrastructure. And to do that, we have to look at the godfather of them all. If Blue Lock is the knife and Haikyuu is the shield, Slam Dunk is the anvil. It is the heavy iron foundation that this entire generation was forged on. You can have all the software and psychology you want, but without the hardware, the machine doesn't run. And the hardware started here. In 1990, basketball in Asia was basically a rounding error. Everyone watched baseball. If you played basketball, people assumed you just couldn't hit a curveball. Then, Slam Dunk dropped, and it didn't just make the sport cool, it functioned as a textbook. Because the main character was a total beginner, the manga spent chapters explaining the actual rules of the game. He who controls the rebound controls the game. That isn't just a quote. That became the doctrine for an entire generation of Japanese kids. It taught them that the dirty work of crashing the glass was actually heroic. But remember how I said we need to change the hardware? Here is where Slam Dunk goes from influential to legendary. The author, Takehiko Inoue, sold 170 million copies. He got rich, like buy a private island, rich. But he didn't buy an island. He started the Slam Dunk Scholarship. He used his royalty money to fund a program that sends elite Japanese high schoolers to American prep schools. He literally paid specifically for them to go learn from the best in the United States. He didn't just inspire the dream, he funded it. He turned his fiction into a supply chain for the NBA. Look at Rui Hachimura or Yuta Watanabe. Rui's coach in junior high literally handed him a ball and said, "You are going to the NBA." In 1980, that sentence would have been a joke, but because of Slam Dunk, it was a plan. 3 sports, 3 generations, 1 result. We are watching millions of kids mimic cartoons and actually come out the other side as pros. But there is one nagging question left. Why does this work? Why doesn't the human brain reject the fake physics? Why aren't we all professional fry cooks after watching SpongeBob? The answer is in your brain, specifically your mirror neurons. When you watch someone jump, a specific part of your brain lights up. It's neural rehearsal. Think of it like riding in the passenger seat of a car. When the driver brakes too late, you instinctively stomp your foot on an imaginary brake pedal. You aren't driving, but your brain thinks you are. It's firing the exact same emergency signals to your leg. Watching anime is just that phantom brake effect, but for high-level athletics. But here is the catch. Real life is like playing Where's Waldo? You have to hunt for the mechanics of the jump amidst the crowd, the bad lighting, and the loose clothing. It takes mental energy just to find the movement. Anime is like a blueprint. There is no clutter. The animators strip away everything that isn't essential. You aren't watching a video. You are watching a moving instruction manual. It's a pure signal. Your brain sees the supernormal version and it downloads the data faster. It's not just entertainment, it's a video manual. And finally, there is the placebo of confidence. This is where the mental game becomes biological. In sports, anxiety is the enemy. Cortisol kills performance. But if you convince yourself that you are the protagonist, if you believe you are a hero of the game, the anxiety vanishes. You enter the flow state, because in the anime, the hero always finds a way to win. And if you think you're the hero, you might just find it too. So, we are stuck in an infinite loop. Art imitates life. Life imitates art. Artists like Inoue and Furudati study real sports to make their manga. Kids read the manga and become supernormal athletes. Those athletes do crazy things, which inspires the next generation of artists. The manga page has become the playbook, and the athletes are just bringing the ink to life. But hey, if you want to see what happens when the Dragon Ball Z generation starts fighting in the UFC, that's a problem for another video. Until then, hit subscribe, trust the physics, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.